Hey guys, Mo the dog trainer. Today I'm with Shade. We're gonna be working on recall. We're gonna be working on the name and the important things about recall and important things about saying your dog's name. So we're gonna start on a leash. Basically, this is about 8 feet long. If your dog doesn't have a good recall, you want to start on the leash because you don't want to let him off leash and then he runs away and doesn't come back. One thing to remember is that you want to make sure that the recall is always positive. Every time you call your dog, you want to make sure that you reward your dog for something, for coming. You always want to make sure that you reward him, because if you don't reward him every time you call, it's just you're gonna water down the recall. So if you call your dog and then you tell him to go in the crate, you're basically watering down the recall, and it's gonna associate with something negative like fun is over, going in the crate, you're leaving, you call your dog. You always wanna call your dog and reward. So one of the things that I wanna teach you guys, it's the name. Same thing goes with the name. If you call your dog his name, you never want to use it for punishment. Shade, yes, good boy. Shade means cheese, chase means play, chase means toys, chase means anything that's fun. Shade, yes. I'm using cheese. I'm also using Ziwi Peak food, which is a really good dog food. It's really expensive, but it's really good for your dog. Not a lot of ingredients. Shade, yes. You want to find something that your dog likes. Shade likes cheese. Shade likes the Ziwi Peak. He hasn't eaten breakfast, so I'm using his food to motivate him to work. He's paying attention. Shade, yes. So with the name, you always want to make sure that the name is always positive. You never want to call your dog for punishment. You never want to call your dog to put him in the crate, because he might love his crate. I'm not saying the crate is bad, but he might associate his name with fun is over, you're leaving, stuff like that. You want to make sure that every time you call his name, he's always getting rewarded for it, even if it's just play. So that's going to be the name. So now that I talked about the name, I want to also talk about recall, calling your dog. It is very important, again, when you call your dog, not to repeat the recall, not to punish your dog for the recall. So if you tell your dog to come and you punish him, if you put him away, if you stop his fun time, he's going to associate the come word with something negative. So if you want to practice this with your dog, let's say you're at the dog park and you call your dog, you wanna call your dog, Shade, come. You wanna grab his leash. Make sure that you grab his leash so he can get used to that, and then you can say, go play. Good boy. Shade, come. Yes. Okay. So this is what you want to do. So you don't want to be like, hey, Shade, come. Okay, we're going home, because then the dog is gonna associate that with something negative. It's going to water down the recall. So you want to use the recall more for fun than to go away. Obviously, if you have to go home, then you're going to call your dog and go home. But you don't want to just practice the recall when you're going home. You want to make sure that if you got to the dog park, you let him go play. If you got to your friend's house, if you're in the backyard, you want to let him go play. Call the dog, grab his leash, and then let him go so he don't associate the recall with just you're leaving. Another thing that I use is food. So we're using cheese and Ziwi Peak food, and I'm not promoting the Ziwi Peak, but it's really good food. You want to call your dog. If he's close to you, this is where you want to start. You want to take a few steps back and then reward him. You want to mark and reward. Shade, come. Yes. Good boy. So this is going to be your beginning. You want to make sure your dog's close on the leash. Shade, come. Yes. And you see how he was just looking around. He'd never been in this area, so he's always distracted right now. So, but he literally turned quickly. Shade, come. Yes. Good boy. You want to start on a short leash first. This is about 8 feet. Check, come. Yes. Boy. So now we transition to a 15-foot leash. I think it is 15 or 20-foot leash. And we're gonna be doing the same thing, remembering that the recall is very important and we don't want to water it down. So I'm just gonna extend it out. Hopefully he gets away from me. If not, I'm gonna toss a treat. Or I can use my camera person to distract them, and then I'm gonna call him. Or we can do it right here, because he's a little distracted. And if he's following you, that's good. That means he's paying attention to where your body is. Shake, come. Yes. Shake, come. Yes. So you notice where I marked. I waited for him to get away. He turned. The moment I called him and he turned around, I said yes. That's where you want to mark. You don't want to mark when he gets to you. You want to mark when he turns to you to run to you, and you want to mark it there so he can know that you're rewarding him for turning around and coming towards you. So we're gonna see if I can go this way a little bit. Then I'm gonna try to turn quickly. Okay, come. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, good boy. I'm rewarding heavily so he can associate the come with something positive. Say come. Say come. Yes. Good boy. And I was a little late on the marker. But the great thing about positive reinforcement is that you don't punish your dog. It basically is all positive. So even if you make a mistake, it's all good. As a trainer, I still make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I'm just watching my surroundings because he's really reactive for other dogs. So I'm just looking to my left and to my right. Something is over there, so he's like a little distracted. Check, come. Yes. Good boy. So this is what you want to do. You want to practice with your dog, starting on your short leash, then transitioning to a longer leash, and then eventually you want to take them to a closed environment, a gated up environment with no leash, and then you want to practice the recall there. Start at your house. Start inside the home. Go to the kitchen and wait for your dog to be in another room, and then call them, and then make sure you reward them. You want to make sure that you reward with a high value treat so your dog can associate something positive. Always reward. Never use the recall or his name for something negative. Never call your dog to trim his nails. Never call your dog to do something that he's not going to appreciate, that he's going to associate with something bad. So to my next video, thank you for watching.